everyone. This is Benjamin from English Classes Online. Today's lesson, we are going to look at the basics of the Ielts test, the key things you must know about the Ielts. Let's get started right away by taking a quick look at the agenda for today's lesson. I like setting agendas for my lessons as a way of ensuring that we cover what we ought to cover in each lesson. We have five main items on our agenda for today's lesson. Number one, what is Ielts? Number two, how does Ielts evaluate your English language skills? Number three, types of Ielts in terms of agencies, tests, and modes. Number four, Ielts structure and exam pattern. We are going to look at the four modules in focus: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. And number five, Ielts results and scores. So let's begin to take these items one by one. What is Ielts? Ielts stands for International English Testing System. And it is a proficiency test for non-native speakers. What precisely is proficiency? It is simply how good you are in the use of English. Who are the non-native speakers? Non-native speakers are people from all countries where English is not spoken as the first language. Native speakers can be found in UK, US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and a few other countries. So if you are from any other country apart from these English native speaking countries, and you want to go and study in any of those countries like Canada, UK, US, or Australia, you must take the Ielts test to prove your proficiency in the use of English. That is what Ielts is all about. Now, how does Ielts evaluate your English language skills? Ielts evaluates your English language skills in four ways. That is examining or evaluating your performance in the four basic language skills: speaking, writing, listening, reading. Now, these four language skills are subdivided into two: productive skills and receptive skills. All right, so the productive skills are speaking and writing, and the receptive skills are listening and reading. If you are listening, you are not producing language, you are listening to what someone else is producing. If you are reading, you are also simply receiving language because you are reading what someone else has written. Well, if you are speaking or writing, you are producing language. So speaking and writing are productive skills, and reading and listening and reading are receptive skills, all right? So that is the way it is. Listening and reading carry 40, you expect 40 questions in each of them. So they are similar in terms of how Ielts evaluates your receptive skills, talking about listening and reading. Ielts evaluates these receptive skills in a similar manner by, giving you 40 questions in each module, and then allowing each question to carry one answer. I mean, to attract one mark, all right? And to have one answer specifically, each question has one answer. And that means that if you score 40 over 40, then you will obtain band 9, which is the highest band, the highest score in the Ielts. Now, writing and speaking are productive skills. And there are 4 criteria for scoring these productive skills. In writing, you know, vocabulary is one of the criteria for scoring your writing. And in speaking, fluency is one of the criteria. So that is exactly what it is. And then let's look at types of Ielts in terms of agencies. There are 2 agencies that conduct Ielts exams. IDP and British Council are the agencies that conduct the Ielts test, and you can book your test with any of them. By and large, there is really no major difference, you know, between the British Council Ielts and the IDP Ielts, because, you know, the exam format and the questions are the same on a particular date of the exam. So if both agencies are conducting an exam in certain parts of the world on a particular day, the entire exam has the same content. So whether you register with IDP or you register with the British Council, you are going to answer similar questions. That's really what it means. Now, types of Ielts tests. There are 2 main types of Ielts tests. Ielts academic, which is meant for study, and Ielts general training, which is meant for work. What this means is that the Ielts academic is for those who are seeking admission into colleges and universities abroad, either in UK, Canada, or any of those countries. Then the Ielts general is for those who want to go and live and work in their target country. Now, take note that if you want to go and study abroad, but you take the general Ielts test instead of the academic, which is meant for those who want to go and study, the university you are applying to will not, and I repeat, will not accept your, even if you get the highest score, they will not accept it because the general Ielts test is not valid for those who are going to study abroad. It is only the academic Ielts test, the Ielts academic test, that is actually valid. Now, the same thing applies to if those who are going to work, live and work abroad for immigration purposes. What is needed is the Ielts general. So if you obtain the Ielts academic and you are just going to work, it's not valid. So make sure you know exactly, you know, the particular purpose of your traveling to that country. If it is for study, you need the academic test. If it is for work, you need the general test, okay? Now you can see the infographic on the screen. These 2 main types of Ielts are displayed there. If you want more details, you can pause and look at other details in terms of their differences and similarities. Now, let's now look at types of Ielts in terms of the mode of delivery. You have the paper and the computer. You can choose to take Ielts on a computer or paper for both the general training and academic tests. Now, the test format, question types, time allocated to each test part, and content is the same for both the paper Ielts and the computer delivered Ielts test. The only difference is in your test day experience, you know. Well, let me give the example in terms of the Ielts listening. Now, in the Ielts listening section, there you are allowed to enter your answers into your question booklet. And then at the end of that, you are given extra 10 minutes to transfer your answers from the question booklet to the answer booklets. All right. I mean, that may not really apply. That applies specifically when you are taking the paper test. If you are taking the computer delivered, well, you have to enter the answers right into the computer, all right? So now the Ies structure, you can see that we will have 4 sections. That's just what it is about. The structure is made up of parts or sections. You have 4 modules in the Ies. You have listening, you have reading, you have writing, you have speaking. Now, what you should know is that listening and reading, listening and speaking are the same for both the academic and the general, the same questions. But reading and writing are different. You have different questions for the academic Ies and different questions for the general Ies. Now, let's take a closer look at the pattern. You know, the same 4 modules are displayed if you look at the infographic on your screen right now. Now, listening, is taken within 30 minutes. Then you have 4 sections and 40 questions. Writing also, writing, of course, has 60 minutes allowed for the test. There are 3 sections and 40 questions. Then the reading has 60 minutes. There are 2 tasks that you have to perform. Task 1 should be done in 100, you have task 1, then of course you have task 2. Then speaking has 11 to 14 or 12 to 15 minutes allowed. It has 3 parts and it is a face-to-face interview with an Ielts examiner. Okay. Now let's look at these modules one by one. Ielts listening module 1. All right, listening will be the first test, on test day. In listening, you will listen to audio prompt and then answer the questions. So listening can be difficult because the accent is that of a native speaker. Difficult in the sense that if you are a second language speaker of English or a foreign language learner of English, you might have some difficulties understanding the exact accent of a British native speaker. However, one thing is clear. If you are a proficient user of the English language, no matter from whichever part of the world you are coming, you will understand an English speaker speaking from any part of the world and irrespective of the accent. So that's really not a major problem. The bottom line is that you should listen attentively. Now, the Ies listening module has 4 sections. The first section is the easiest in terms of the questions, and the last section is the most difficult. So make sure that you write the answers in the question booklet, as I earlier mentioned. You need to answer the questions while listening to the audio, and that is why you have to enter the answers as the question booklet is right in front of you. You enter the answers as you listen. Now, at the end of that exercise, you'll be given extra 10 minutes to transfer the answers from the question booklet to the answer booklet, which will be provided to you. Okay? So now, Ies reading is different for academic module and different for the general training module. But there are a number of similarities, okay? Reading has 3 reading passages and 40 questions. So make sure you write the answers directly on the answer sheet as already mentioned, okay? No, in reading, you don't need to write the answer. You don't need to enter the answer into the question booklet. So you make sure you write the answers directly on the answer sheets. So that is the difference between the listening module and the reading module. You won't be given any extra time to transfer your answers from the question booklet into the answer sheet as it is in the listening module. Okay? Now, in Ies writing module, you also know that writing is different for general tests and different for academic tests. However, there are a number of similarities. General Ies test is for those who are looking for job, while the academic is for those who want to gain admission into institutions. Now, the writing test has 2 tasks in each module, while the general has 2 tasks as well, okay? General has writing in task 1 and essay writing in task 2. So writing generally has 2 tasks in each module, in the academic and in the general. Each of them has 2 tasks. In the general test, task 1 is letter writing and task 2 is essay writing. In task 1, the letter could be formal, informal, or semi-formal, all right? Then the academic test has summary writing in task 1 and essay writing in task 2, okay? In task 1, the summary is based on an image, okay? You have to analyze or describe an image. It could be a chart, a graph, or a diagram. Now, in task 1, you are going to write 150 words in 20 minutes, and in task 2, you are going to write 250 words in 40 minutes. Now, in Ies speaking module, you need to understand that the speaking module is a one-to-one interaction between the examiner and the candidate, which is recorded, all right? Now, speaking module has 3 sections. Task 1 is a brief introduction, followed by a short question and answer conversation or interview on familiar topics. Task 2 is individual long or extended speaking. In this task, the examiner will give you a topic to speak on for about 1 to 2 minutes. You will have a minute to prepare. The examiner will not interrupt during your speech. You will be given the freedom to speak about the topic. Now, in task 3, which is a discussion, the examiner will ask you 5 to 6 questions based on the topic that was given to you in task 2. Now, generally in the speaking tasks, you need to make sure you relax and speak as naturally and as much as you can, all right? In order to actually win a lot of, in order to score a lot of marks. Okay, now we want to look at Ies results and scores. Now, Ies scores are called bands, and the overall score, you have band 1 to 9. 1 is the lowest and 9 is the highest. And you also have the same band scoring system even in the various modules. In listening, you have band 1 to 9. In reading, you can score band 1 to 9. In writing, the same. In speaking, the same. Now, you need to understand that it's important for you to actually understand this scoring system, because understanding the scoring system will enable you to prepare adequately, all right? And you can appropriately measure your progress and then set your goal, your scoring goal. So as we have seen, the exam is graded in this manner. And one thing you ought to know is that you can always find out what the university you are applying to requires in terms of the scores. If a university, for example, has as their admission requirements band 7.5 overall score, and then they can go ahead to specify that they want you also to make sure you obtain at least band 7 in reading and writing, or in listening and speaking, as the case may be. So knowing what your university or the organization you want to work in, or the government where you want to go, their immigration department, you can always find out this information from their website. And it's important you do that so that you know exactly your study plan and your scoring goal. Now, as I already mentioned, apart from obtaining a good general score, you might have to get required scores in some specific modules if this is specifically required by the institution or organization that you are applying to. Okay. Now, having said that, we are going to draw the curtain here on today's class. This lesson has been on the introduction to Ielts training course, the basics of Ielts tests. I have given you an introductory view. I've given you insight into the basics, the fundamental things you need to know about the Ielts test. And I want you to understand that if you are interested in preparing adequately for your Ielts test, if you are looking for a training course that demystifies the Ielts test, simplifies the tasks, and gets you adequately prepared so that on test day, you enter the exam feeling comfortable and feeling confident because you know exactly what to do, then of course, English classes online is the solution to your problem. Because here on English classes online, we have a complete study package, and we cover all the modules and all the areas of proficiency in the Ielts test. By the time you take this course and complete the course, you should be able to answer all the questions and be able to obtain at least band 8. This is guaranteed, provided that you do your own part, because we are going to give you the practice test. We are going to give you practice lessons. We are going to give you step-by-step analysis, step-by-step explanation at every point of our lectures. And of course, all efforts are geared towards simplifying the whole thing so that you walk into the exam feeling comfortable and absolutely confident because you know exactly what you are going to do. So this is certainly where we draw the curtain. I look forward to seeing you in the next class. If you have not signed up for this Ielts training course, go ahead and sign up, because certainly this training course will guarantee that you achieve your dream results in the Ielts test. See you in the next class, and goodbye for now.